Thank you for joining us for the Applying to a Health Professions program, sponsored by the Health Professions Advising Center at UCR. During today's workshop, we're going to cover the Centralized Application Service, which is also known as the CAS. These CASs exist for the most popular health professions programs that exist. In front of you on the screen are the most common programs that students apply to in the health professions field. Even though there are over 100 that exist, these centralized application services are utilized for students who are applying to various programs throughout the country. These applications include information such as the personal and biographical information, transcripts which include coursework and grade point average, standardized exams such as the GRE, the MCAT, the PCAT, the DAT, etc., activities, personal statement, letters of recommendation and evaluation, and school selection, such as the secondary or supplemental application, as well as payment. You'll see in front of you we have several of these health professions programs and with their open date as well as their submission date. Notice that these dates aren't always the same. For example, AMCAS, which is the application system for allopathic medicine, opens on May 3rd, and you can submit as early as June 7th. For ACOMAS, which is the application system for the Osteopathic Association, it opens on May 5th, and you can submit on May 5th. Notice that we do not have deadlines here. We don't list deadlines because most health professions programs fall on a rolling admission schedule, which means as soon as they start receiving applications, they start making decisions on who to interview. Take a look at your health professions program that you're interested in and notice the open date and submission date. This will allow you to prepare accordingly. As you can imagine, preparing early and applying early is really important. When preparing early, we encourage students to think about preparing for the standardized exam, again, the MCAT, the PCAT, the DAT, etc. What you want to include and convey in your personal statement. What activities do you want to include? Who's going to be writing your letters of recommendation? And then the entire application itself. Applying early, really important. We discussed rolling admissions and how first come, first serve is really how the health professions application cycle works. You will notice that most applications become available in the late spring, early summer, which usually includes applications opening in late May, moving into June and July. Once the application is submitted and transcripts have been received by each CAS, it usually takes 4 to 6 weeks for that application service to review your application and make it available to the health profession schools that you're interested in applying to. Once your application is received by each school, schools are selecting applications based on academic competitiveness. They may offer you a secondary or supplemental application based on your application, or you may receive one automatically because you're a resident of that state, or for many private schools, they will send out an application to all students who are interested in that particular health professions. Once you've completed a secondary or supplemental application and sent it back, it gets reviewed for interviews. At that time, a school will decide whether or not to interview you, and if so, they'll send you that information. Interviews happen anytime between August, which is mid-fall. Interviews start in late summer, which is usually August, running through spring, which is sometime in May. During that time, acceptances will also come out. It's absolutely true, this is a very long and sometimes arduous process. What do admissions committees look for? This is a really important question. The first thing, as you can imagine, is academic ability. So they're looking at grade point average and standardized exam. Essentially, do you have the academic capability to be able to do the work? Secondly, they're looking at experiences. How do you know you want to be X profession? They're looking at clinical experiences, service, research, clubs and organizations that you may have taken advantage of at school or outside in the community, and so forth. They'll also be looking at personal attributes, looking at leadership, communication, cultural competency, professionalism, compassion, social skills, teamwork. These are really important attributes that come from experiences, they come from your work inside the class. Oftentimes, these things are detailed in letters of recommendation or evaluations. So you want to make sure that as you're becoming involved in class and in the community, that whoever's going to be evaluating you later down the road are going to be able to write on these specific attributes. Are you ready? So one of the most common questions that we get in the Health Professions Advising Center is, am I competitive to apply? What's listed above is a basic compilation of statistics of students who applied to a health professions program this past year. You'll see the programs that are listed above are those that are the most popular programs. You'll see for allopathic and osteopathic, nearly 70,000 people submitted an application for the 2015-16 academic year. Following down through the list, you'll see professions such as dentistry, pharmacy, optometry, physician assistant, physical therapy, and veterinary medicine listed. Take a look at the various number of programs. So this will give you an idea that even though you're a California resident, there are a lot of other health programs that exist throughout the country. Take a look at the GPA. You'll see that the average GPA hovers somewhere around an A- to a B+ average, typically closer to an A-, especially in the science GPA category. And the test score. Look at the test score of your profession program and what's required. If you're looking at allopathic and osteopathic medicine, most schools are still reporting the older MCAT score, which tends to be an average between 28 and 31. Now that we're on a new scoring system as of April 2015, we'll start to see new scores next year. As of now, that new scoring system, to be competitive, tends to hover around between a 507, 508, up to a 510 and beyond. If you have questions regarding this academic information and test score information, please speak with your advisor. If you have an AdviseStream account, this would be a great time to go into that account and pull the information that you've been plugging in over the past couple of years and prepare to input it into the application. A lot of the information you've been putting into your AdviseStream account will also appear the same in your application to your health professions program. If you don't have an AdviseStream account and you're interested in getting one, please talk with an HPAC advisor. The application to your health professions program looks much like what's listed on the screen. As you can see on the screen in front of you, applying to a health professions program is a lot of work. We'll spend the next part of the workshop going through each of the individual tabs for you to better understand what's required. Personal and biographical information is probably the easiest part of the application. Here you're seeing very basic information that's being asked for you to input. Transcripts and coursework. This tends to be the more complex area and actually the bulk of the work that you're putting into the application. For every school, that's community college, university that you've attended, you'll need to send an official transcript to the CAS that you're applying to. That will go from the school that you attended directly to the CAS. It doesn't go from the school to you, and it doesn't come from the school to the schools that you're applying to. When you are applying, it's important to remember to wait for your spring quarter grades. This is true especially for juniors and seniors. Wait until the end of the spring quarter, grades are finalized and reported, and then send transcripts. Make sure that you use an official transcript when entering all coursework exactly how it appears on the transcript into the CAS. Do not utilize your GRAL account or an audit to enter this information. You want to try to make this information as correct as possible, because when the CAS reviewers are reviewing your transcript, they're using what came directly from the registrar's office. You should be doing the same. Also remember to enter course repeats, withdraws, courses that you earned an S or an NC, as well as courses that you earned a C- in, and labs. Once your information has been received to the CAS, it typically takes 4 to 6 weeks for them to review official transcripts. Not sending your transcript will cause a delay for an applicant. Here you will see a coursework entry for the AMCAS application service. Students will be asked to enter each course individually along with the academic year, the term, the year in school such as freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, and so forth. Course number, course name, course classification. Course classification is where you're identifying whether the course is a science or non-science. Transcript grade, credit/unit hours, and was the course a lecture only, a lab only, or a combined lecture and lab. Please also see below the special course types. If you are entering courses that you will be taking in the summer or the next year, you will enter those courses in and mark them current/future. GPA calculations. Most professional schools will assess a student's potential using the following criteria. They'll use a cumulative GPA, which is every course taken at every college or university. This does not include AP credit, withdraws, S/NC. Both the original grade and the new grade, if there are multiple grades, are calculated for course repeats, except for the following programs: osteopathic medicine and optometry programs. Biology, chemistry, physics, and math to calculate the science GPA. This does include both lower division and upper division classes. These GPAs are often different than what UCR calculates. Full details regarding how the GPA is calculated is in the application instructions. There's also a GPA calculator located on the HPAC website. Standardized exams. Standardized exams are considered the MCAT, the DAT, the PCAT, the OAT, and the GRE for programs such as veterinary medicine, physical therapy, occupational therapy, public health, and PA. Nursing programs will oftentimes also refer to the GRE, especially if it's a master's program. One thing that's important with the standardized exam is it's a good idea to know how you're scoring before you take the actual exam. For fields such as medicine and dentistry, this is especially critical for careers such as medicine and dentistry. There is no one way to prepare for each exam, but it is important that you do prepare in advance. Students use formal courses such as Kaplan, Princeton Review, Exam Crackers, Berkeley Review, etc. And many students prepare on their own using low-cost or free tools such as the AAMC's Khan Academy, CHAD videos, DAT destroyers, etc. It's important to give yourself enough time to study for each exam. Students will often study anywhere from 6 months to 3 months. It really depends on how much time you can put towards studying. If you're studying for 3 months, you need to be looking at studying somewhere around 6 hours a day. If you're spreading this out over a longer amount of time, let's say for 6 months, maybe 3 to 4 hours a day. Summer is a great time to prepare for a health profession standardized test. Activities. Activities is comprised of a lot of different things, including clinical experiences, research experiences, service, part-time work, full-time work, volunteering, etc. Most application services have a limited number of entries. For AMCAS, it's 15. These entries are going to ask for a start date, an end date, and how many hours you participated in the program. They're also going to ask for a contact person's name and information, and a description of the activity. Description character counts. The description character count varies amongst different health professions. You'll see on the screen in front of you what various health professions will allow. This section is very extensive for students who are applying to medical school. Make sure you prepare for this well in advance. Personal statement. A personal statement is typically required by all health professions programs. HPAC offers a personal statement workshop winter, spring, and summer quarters. We ask for you to attend a personal statement workshop in order for you to get personal one-on-one assistance from an advisor. We also have the personal statement workshop video listed on our website. In front of you, you'll see that different health professions programs allow different character counts for their personal statement. MCAS will allow 5,300 characters, where CASPA and VMCAS allows roughly 5,000. If you're applying to osteopathic programs, dentistry, pharmacy, physical therapy, optometry, and occupational therapy programs, they allow 4,500 characters, including spaces. We know this is often very challenging. Advisors encourage students to start writing as much as they can, and we'll go back and help you perfect the practice, removing excess words and unneeded repetition as you go through the process. It's important to prepare at least 3 months in advance of the application opening. It's also important to note that many application services utilize plagiarism software, so it's important for this to be your own work. Letters of recommendation are typically required by all health professions programs. Generally, most programs ask for 3 to 5 letters. Most programs ask for 2 letters from science faculty, and these are individuals who've taught you in a course. 1 letter from a professional, such as an osteopathic physician, a dentist, a pharmacist, an optometrist, a PA, a physical therapist. Letter writers should know you well and be able to speak to your academic ability, your motivation, your personal characteristics, and knowledge and understanding of the profession and overall potential. This is not just based on your performance in class. Attend office hours, engage in research, and build relationships with faculty so that they are able to write you a well-constructed letter of recommendation. The AAMC, which is the Association of American Medical Colleges, has produced guidelines for writing a letter of evaluation. This brochure can be used for all health professions programs. Oftentimes, faculty or letter writers will be sent this evaluation, and they can use this tool in lieu of writing a letter of recommendation, although they may submit both. Please take a look at the various key criteria that you will be evaluated on. Many of these criteria go back to the personal characteristics that we recently covered in this workshop. It's also important for you to note that when asking for a letter of evaluation, if you feel that an individual is not able to rate you highly or would rate you as not observed in these categories, you may want to consider asking somebody else for an evaluation. Letters of recommendation are typically submitted through the Centralized Application service. You do not need to have your letters submitted before submitting your application. Letters are sent individually from the letter writer to the CAS application service. You are not to receive the letters directly to you. UCR does not have a letter committee, and we do not process letters of recommendation in HPAC. Selecting schools and their fees. So once you've completed the primary part of the CAS, the second part of applying is filling out a secondary school or supplemental application. It's really important that you research each school before you apply. It's important for you to understand their mission statement, their average and range of GPA and test score exams. It's important for you to know the average range of GPA and exam score, as well as location, size, and curricula type. And is the school public or private, in-state or out-of-state? It's important to ask these questions and find out this information because you may be wasting valuable resources in applying to programs that are not applicable to you or where you're not competitive. Below is a listing of current fees for each CAS system. Most of these CAS system fees include one school. So you'll see at the top line, to complete AMCAS, it's $160 and that includes one school. Additional schools are $36 each in addition to the secondary fee that the school will cost. Most health applications offer a financial assistance program. These programs, also known as FAP, are generally granted toward financially disadvantaged applicants on a first-come, first-served basis. Qualification is usually based on your income, your parents' income, and what's reported on a most recent tax return. This information has to be submitted before you submit your primary and secondary application. AMCAS, the application system for MD schools, is the most generous. Currently, the FAP program covers reduction of the MCAT as well as free prep materials. It covers up to 15 primary and secondary applications. Programs such as ACOMAS, which is for osteopathic programs, ADSAS for dental programs, pharmacy, PTCAS, CASPA for PA programs, SOFAS for public health programs, and VMCAS for vet programs have some type of financial assistance program. It's your responsibility to check with these organizations very early on to see what type of assistance is provided. Once you submit the application, some CAS services will allow you to update limited information. This limited information may be name, contact information, as well as other personal information. Letters of evaluation. You may also go in and notify a CAS that a letter recommendation may no longer be sent. You can update your next testing date for the MCAT, PCAT, GRE, etc. And you can add an addition of schools or change schools that you would like to apply to. Personal statement and activities may not be modified after submission. Academic update period. This is for programs in the fields of pharmacy, dentistry, optometry, occupational therapy, and physician assisting. Usually in December, at the end of fall quarter, you can go in and update your planned courses. You may also enter grades at that time. Remember, most programs will also require you to follow up with the most up-to-date transcript. Secondary and supplemental applications. These are school-specific. Some are automatic and some are sent by invitation. Remember, within this part of the application, it's important for you to know why is the school the right fit for you. Oftentimes, there are several essays within the secondary application. Make sure that you answer those questions to the best of your ability, even if you feel that you're repeating something that you've already included on the primary application. Submit as quickly as possible regardless of the deadline. Most schools would like a turnaround time of 1 to 2 weeks. Your application to a particular school is not complete without the supplemental. Also note that this will bring on additional fees. Secondary applications are a part of the application review and are reviewed prior to being offered an interview. Application resources. There are many resources that are available online that are able to help you with the process of applying. Most of the CASs do have their own application instructions. They're available on the application website. There are video tutorials, FAQs, and a lot of information available on social media, such as their Facebook site or Twitter site. After you submit your application, you're probably going to hopefully enjoy the rest of the summer in getting ready to come back to school or start your gap year. Please try to make sure that everything has been submitted by the end of July or August, if possible. You'll return to classes, start your glide year program, and prepare for an upcoming interview. Interviews are August through March. Make sure that you're available through interview season. If you're thinking of doing a gap year, things that might improve your competitiveness may not necessarily be a part of the application. You might want to focus on GPA, standardized test score, clinical experiences, service experiences, research, and leadership. Here are a list of national organizations. Each of these organizations have a lot of information based on their website. These are the official websites, so we encourage you to check these out.